Now, I think that we could all fully agree that 2023 has been by far the worst year, if not of all time, by Bob Iger, not just because of his poor leadership skills, but we also have to account for the board of directors allowing a lot of his ideas for the cost containment plan, really wreaking havoc over at Disney, and not just because of that, but everything happening with Disney Plus and the purging of content there, while at the same exact time raising rates. But we also have to look at the other factors, such as BlackRock and Vanguard, some of the top shareholders, funding all of these nonsense ideas pouring into Disney. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into exactly what's happening with Jenna Ortega and Rachel Zegler and what's really going on in between. Now, we know that Rachel Zegler, we talked about this a couple of days ago, she was fired from several Disney projects, both animated and live-action material, and a lot of this was rooted back to her comments and her, overall interviews going viral surrounding Snow White that were not really fully approved by Disney. There were things that she was not coached by Disney to say, and she really went off all of the planning of what Disney told her to do, and that really led to her complications with Disney, and basically her getting dropped from multiple projects, alright? It wasn't just Snow White prequels and sequels, but it was also connected to other franchises that were in the works by Disney that she was actually fired from. Now, this is where matters get even more complicated. Now, you guys may or may not know, but Disney is really trying to expand to compete against both DreamWorks and Paramount and Skydance. Now, with actress Rachel Zegler caught up in the Disney fiasco after her removal from several Disney projects, one major development has to do with Disney's plan to remedy the situation after firing Zegler from multiple roles to continue their projects. Since Zegler was fired from a Disney animated film and even a spy film series/franchise to compete against Mission Impossible, as well as another untitled live-action project, Disney's plan right now, after firing Zegler from those projects, is to replace her with actress Jenna Ortega, as they feel she is the proper way to replace her after hearing her outstanding performance for Beetlejuice 2. Now, Jenna Ortega reportedly got these roles due to her past connections with Disney. Ortega is now said to be taking over the voiceover work for Disney's Shrek-like movie that will compete against DreamWorks and the spy film franchise, where Ortega is planned to play a spy girl in their upcoming series of movies to compete against Tom Cruise and Paramount. Now guys, let me just stop here quick before I continue. I am in no way defending Disney. I'm not saying that just because they have Jenna Ortega means that these movies are going to be good. I'm sure they're all still going to be woke disasters. But I will say this. Jenna Ortega is a far better talent than Rachel Zegler ever will be. That's, my overall thought about all of this. Now, do I really think that this is going to give them a one-up for their competitor against Mission Impossible or DreamWorks? I don't believe so. I mean, it may very well just give them better talent, but this is where matters get even more complicated, because this is also going to be connected to the Pirates of the Caribbean reboot. Alright, we have a lot more to talk about that and how Jenna Ortega is taking over a part of that as well that Rachel Zegler was reportedly initially connected to. Now, the thing about this is that we know that Bob Iger and the board, they are trying to do whatever they can to succeed. They want to compete against other franchises out there. That's why they want to take down Tom Cruise. They want to take down Paramount, because they learned that Paramount is basically becoming a box office success when it comes to their MI movies. And they're not going to stop with the next Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 2. Alright, Tom Cruise has been openly clear that they want to keep making these movies even if Ethan Hunt retires. Alright? So, moving on forward, Disney higher-ups specifically wanted Ortega to replace Zegler, as they felt since she is becoming a rising star, it will help them succeed with these movies, as well as her past TV shows she worked with for Disney was also her way into the projects. These deals, alright, are set to be finalized by the end of October, as they plan to continue development once the strike comes to a close in the future. The other untitled film, apart from the spy movies and the animated movie that Ortega will be taking over, that Zegler was fired from, is described to be a live-action reboot of Pirates of the Caribbean, another of which Zegler was supposedly attached to take part in, that was reportedly taken over now by Ortega, is now, of course, becoming one of the new leads for the Pirates reboot by The Last of Us showrunner that will no longer star Johnny Depp. Now, again, here's my main issue with this, is that Disney believes that just by obtaining Jenna Ortega, that these movies or these franchises are going to be mega hits. That's not always the case, right? Because we know that Disney's doubling down fully on their woke agenda. They're not going to stop with their DEI nonsense, and you can have Jenna Ortega all you want. I don't believe it's going to save Disney. I'm not saying that I'm against Jenna Ortega. All I'm saying is that Disney feels like Jenna is like this golden ticket to success, and they need to learn that it's not that easy. It's not like that, simple, where you could just grab a talent and expect success out of it. If you have a very, lackluster execution style of all of these movies and TV shows, the way it's presented, it's not going to work. The fact that they are getting her to replace Rachel Zegler is, look, I think that's a step in the right direction, but you have to drop the woke nonsense to really make this work. Do I think that they will ever compete or succeed past the Mission Impossible movies? Absolutely not. Do I think that they will succeed past DreamWorks? I don't believe so. And I think that this Shrek-like movie that they're trying to create is definitely a response to the Shrek 5/Shrek reboot that's been in the talks for a while now over at DreamWorks. It most likely has a lot to do with that. And also the fact that Jenna Ortega is becoming a part of the Pirates of the Caribbean reboot is interesting. The fact that Zegler was going to be attached to that and was dropped from it, and now Ortega's taking over that as one of the lead roles. Now, again, like I say, I can imagine Ortega in a Pirates movie. I'm not saying I'm against that, but I don't believe that movie, that reboot, is going to work without Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is and always will be Pirates of the Caribbean. You can't have a movie without him. It's just not going to work in my book. I don't know about you all, but without Johnny, you don't have Pirates. It's very much like other franchises out there. When you don't, have specific key characters, it just doesn't quite work. So overall, it's interesting that Ortega is taking over Rachel after her recent removals and firings from various projects after her interviews went viral about Snow White that were unauthorized. And I would like to hear what you all have to say about this entire fiasco below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.